Good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of Market Check, brought to you by BB. There is no second best daily YouTube live stream to talk about markets. Welcome, guys. Happy Tuesday. We officially have just 2 days left in this month. Honestly, that is that's absolutely wild for me to think about, man. I feel like April just started, but welcome. We're going to have a great show for you all today. I'm Tommy. You also know me as Snorlax. I'm joined by Tucker and, of course, Prometheus. Welcome to you guys as well. I hope that the audience is having a fine Tuesday, a great start to the week thus far. Although the market is flat, I do think there's still quite a bit that we can talk about today. But first, I'm going to ask you guys to hit the like button. And I'm going to add, if you have a ticker that you'd like us to look at today, right? Because the market is a little bit flat thus far. Post it in the comments and we will do our best to pick, some of the best and obviously cover those. But yeah, we always appreciate when you guys hit the like button, and obviously you help us continue to grow our channel, reach more eyes and ears, and continue to be able to bring you all this content on a daily basis. But yeah, like I said, we're going to have a great show for you all today. Although, like I said, the market is a little bit flat. We have things going on even still. Our new macro events seem to be professional yappers. What do I mean by that? Well, we had Besant speak earlier this morning. We've got Lutnick speaking later today. Will the market behave, as we have typically seen things like CPI, et cetera, like FOMC? I guess we'll see, right? But this has been a market that has been largely driven by headline risk thus far. And so for that reason, maybe these are the new macro events that cause us to see these whipsaws on the lower time frame. I have no idea. But nevertheless, guys, we're going to talk about Bitcoin today, slow grinding up. We're going to talk about altcoins, many of which I look across the board and I see some beta alts beginning to catch up to alphas slowly but surely, right? But we are moving off the floor on some of these assets. And of course, we'll probably bring you guys some daily crime as well, just because I think that's becoming maybe one of my favorite segments that we've ever done on this show. But I think the daily crime will actually be one that we've covered before. There's just been a constant stream of crime occurring on one chart in particular. But no, how are we doing, guys? What are our thoughts on the market? Do we have any thoughts on obviously Besant and Lutnick speaking today? I know Besant already went, Lutnick speaking later. He's kind of viewed as I guess the less predictable professional yapper as far as communicating with the markets. But just to give a quick rundown on kind of some other, just percentage gains on the day. I guess equities are kind of waffling between green and red. We'll see how they close. Bitcoin, I was going to say Bitcoin was looking stronger than ETH, but I guess ETH is up 1% while Bitcoin is red. Go ahead and make your jokes about that while you can. And I guess Solana flat, BNB down about 0.75%. And yeah, not too much really to write home about in the Forex market, except for the 10-year yield down another 0.6, 0.7%. How are we, guys? What are we seeing in the markets?
Good, doing very, very good. Yeah, like you said, not a whole lot has changed from yesterday to today. We had a crazy close on the SPOOs. I think the SPOOs closed up or down 5 points maybe, which is crazy. But yeah, we're just kind of seeing some sideways chop right now. The market's really trying to digest where the next potential move is. That's very, very clear. We're seeing a lot of positioning entering in on both sides of the board. We're not super heavy skewed to either the long side or the short side right now. I think it's actually, we're kind of in wait and see mode right now. But yeah, Lutnick's coming in later in the day, and he definitely can be a little bit of a wrecking ball. That's for sure. But like Tucker's showing, we are entering up into the gap right now on SPX, slowly but surely. Nice little slow grind up into there. And yeah, it really does seem like some alts in particular really want to pop off. When we even see, I mean, Bitcoin flat and the slightest little relief out of Ethereum in general, a few of these names are really wanting to press higher. And I think if we see, another 5% move out of BTC, you could get some absolute flyers in the altcoin market.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, kind of like we talked about last week, this is really the only area that I care about on the S&P. Bitcoin actually looks phenomenal. Let me see if this is the right. Yeah, I think it is. Well, oh no, it's this one. Anything open anyway. Yeah, this actually looks super good. I mean, pretty good weekly close. Could have been better, could have been worse, but not bad at all. I'm gonna want to see this 3-day right here actually close, above 94. Because if not, like, this is kind of your classic 3-bar reversal type of thing, right? Like big candle up, big doji, then big candle down. So as long as we don't do that, I think we're looking good. Not really my expectation at all. So that's good. But yeah, like we talked about, a lot of supply, right? A lot of supply in here. But I think it's going to take a little while to chew through. I think we look similar, lower time frame to like this, I was showing that just before, but yeah, it looks like vertical accumulation on the lower time frames. Look at that, So I don't know. I like it. I like a stab. I like probably one of these, right? Maybe not that deep, but if we're talking low time frame price action, I like something like this, right? And then have a reaction here as well, and then I don't know, something like that. But I think if we have, who do we have? Percent talking.
He already did. He called Amazon like a Chinese, or that they were like aiding some Chinese thing. And the stock didn't do anything. So I guess that's probably a good sign. But
yeah.
Somebody in the Discord called him a wet towel or a wet blanket.
Walking wet blanket.
If the admin didn't have Besant, the market would probably be trading like 10 or 15% lower, to be honest.
Yeah, but we've got what? You said we got Lutnick later this afternoon?
Yeah. I kind of feel like their approach is a little bit good cop, bad cop. I don't know how you guys feel about that. I think at a certain point, like if somebody is viewed as a liability with the things that they're saying, and that's not supposed to be the case, they're going to get yanked. The fact that they keep putting these people on TV, to me, signifies it's kind of like good cop, bad cop in a way. I think they're trying to walk the market down ultimately. Obviously, the first leg wasn't necessarily that controlled, but I kind of feel like that's maybe the plan now. If there is
one. Trying to walk Bitcoin down, or are they trying to walk the S&P?
Equities. Yeah, they don't.
I mean,
I think for the SPOOs, you get above that shoulder at 58. Like that's your, kind of confirmation signal to me at this point. That the market, price may be preceding, the news, but until then, I think you got to kind of be pretty careful.
I mean, bro, they did not walk this down at all. That was that was a nuke, dude. That was a 20% just nuke. Like,
well, we walked it down slowly, and then the foam board came out.
I mean, this was what? This first little thing was like 10% over 20 days. I mean, that's still
it was pretty tidy outside of the 2 days where we went down like 5% back to back.
Yeah, from 5,500 to 48 was not not controlled. But besides that, yeah, I agree.
I mean, when you're almost hitting breakers on the broader index, that's capitulation.
Well,
Like, okay, so like, Tommy, you think we're like here? Maybe. I mean,
no.
I
I kind of feel like it's going to go one of two ways. Like I truly do think at some point we're going to backfill the Yellen inefficiency from the TGA back in October 2023. That could either be the Schmiko bottom, or I guess we're going into some like much larger correction. I know there are people who expect us to trade into like the 3000s, like Chem, but that was his prediction in December. I don't know if it's still, what he's looking at right now. He also doesn't expect it in like a straight line. I think he was saying Q4.
Yeah, end of 25, if I remember correctly.
You think they're just gonna walk it down this year?
Generally speaking, maybe. I guess if we got another leg down into like 4,400, 4,300 on the S&P here over the course of this month, I could see the case for a long-term bottom being in.
Yeah, I tend to agree.
Yeah, that's what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, just kind of basing that off of positioning. I mean, the longer there's uncertainty in the market, obviously there's going to be more hedges. And I think knowledge is vol dampening, right? So when you have all those hedges come in, you've kind of limited the opportunity for super large downside. Not that it can't occur, but it's much harder at that point because, I mean, people have already positioned that way. Yeah. I'm really kind of curious to see what we do in May, to be honest.
Let's see.
I mean, really, the most glorious thing that could happen, to the crypto market would be a summer rally. I kind of talked about that yesterday in the Discord. We've been for the past 3 years, have not had a bullish summer. But I think that would be, like I said, I think you have majority of crypto participants kind of have the seasonality burned into the back of their brains at this point, and you might have the potential to have a pretty gnarly squeeze to the upside.
A bullish summer would be lovely for Prometheus. That would be fantastic. Yeah.
Well, in the past 2 years, I mean, something to take note of. I mean, on the whole like Yellen topic, I mean, banks are sitting on like $400 billion in unrealized losses too, due to the fact that interest rates have not come down at all. And that's a looming topic right now is they need to, if they don't want these banks to incur these losses, they need to re-inject liquidity, into the BTFP program. But they had mentioned that they weren't necessarily like they were considering not doing it. And I think that's a reason why Trump has urgency to get Powell to really start cutting, is he understands, if we don't, then they kind of have to inject. Otherwise things start breaking.
Well, that's the area specifically, I think, of Chem's thesis that I disagree with, that the 10-year is just going to keep rising and rising and rising. I actually think it's coming down later this year.
I think so too.
Which you just mentioned.
Yeah, I don't think the 10-year is going to like 8% or whatever he's calling.
No,
I mean, the 10-year looks pretty trash right now, if I'm being honest. Like,
bring it down to 3.2, 3.3.
Looks like Bitcoin on the lower time frame.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Nuke this.
Hear that?
Nuke.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was that? Was that your cat?
Butters.
That was Butters.
Talking to a wall, probably.
But you, Tommy, you think this goes to like what, 5 something in the short term and then down?
No, not anymore.
Not anymore.
No, unless stocks keep going up, I don't see any reason for this to keep moving higher.
I just can't look at that structure and be bullish. I mean, to me, it just screams
looks
complacency,
awful.
rolling over, losing momentum, distribution, whatever you want to call it.
It
And
looks like another chart that I know.
Look at this.
Well, a few, dollar being one.
yeah, that is crazy. I think we see a little bit of a pop, I will say, in the Dixie potentially. Maybe a little bit of a mean reversion, backfill some of that liquidity, bring a little bit more certainty back into the dollar, and then we can get the full on, not collapse, but downside that a lot of people have been calling for.
Yeah, man, it's right here.
I don't even know if we're getting a bounce Prometheus.
You think it's just one-way train?
I kind of feel like it's just gonna drop like a rock.
This
And
is
looking
like
at the
best case for the dollar. Best case. What were you saying, Tommy?
No, I accidentally pulled up the wrong chart to form a conclusion.
You know what I think it kind of looks like? It looks like Ethereum at 20.
Yeah, it does.
800.
I was thinking the same thing. You mean in 2022?
Or no, not 20. It looks at like a ETH at no, I was looking at Jan of 25, where it's just dying momentum when we're on the the backside. Yeah.
It makes me think of ETH in 2022, right before it legged down to like $700.
ETH in 2022. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I see. So you're in here.
I guess that would be a good contextual bottom for the dollar.
I mean, where would that even be, though? Like 94s, maybe?
Yeah, come into that volume area right there. Yeah, like 94 to 96-ish.
Yeah.
I'm going to put a fractal on it. I'll let you guys know exactly where it's coming down into.
0.
89.
Zeroni. It looks like it's going soon.
I mean, I can.
Fortunately, there's a place where you can trade Forex now on chain. You should use my ref.
You should use my ref. Study 88, Tommy. Is that what you're looking at?
Like low 90s, 92.
Okay, yeah, I'll take it.
Has it happening pretty quick.
But like contextually, I mean, you got to think what would happen to equity markets,
Don't ask him that.
Yeah, I mean, just broader markets, that is not bullish.
I would argue it's better for markets, specifically crypto, for us to leg down now versus an extended shoulder over the next few months.
You think?
I do. Because I'm kind of viewing this period on equities as like one of two things, right? It's either a replication of probably like the 60s, or you're replicating 2008 or like 2000s, and then that, obviously that's not a good scenario. And I think that's the extended shoulder scenario. But I don't think that rules out a summer pump in crypto in either case. I think that's definitely possible.
Yeah, and I think I mean, I talked about it on Spaces yesterday, but the market is showing cracks in the foundation. That's for sure. Like you cannot, dispute that. But I mean, there's a window where I think you could see, a true Goldilocks period, in my opinion. Like I genuinely think recession in 26, but um, if not later this year. But I think there's a window to where you could really see uh, some bullish price action.
I mean, in theory, the environment that we're creating should benefit commodities on a continual basis for the next like 10 years, but
Yeah.
which should benefit crypto. At the least it should benefit Bitcoin.
Let's quickly check in on. Okay. God, silver, dude. Silver is ETH, bro. It just can't.
Mm-hmm.
Can't do it, bro.
I mean, you have the Hunt family too, just constantly suppressing price.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on VIX here, Tommy?
I mean, it could drop a little lower. I think it's come down a lot. So like continuing to aggressively trend higher, I don't really know if it's in the cards. It's probably going to be like a quick move up, whatever we get. Like if that comes from 22, if that comes from here, I tend to think it's probably going to be like a quick green candle, and then it's going to cool off, I think, for a much more extended period of time. Otherwise, it might just take some, like a few. I mean, if we just kind of continue to bleed and base out, then realistically, you could do that until like June.
I mean, if you lose like 22, it's fried. Like it's going back to like 15, 16, I bet. Yeah.
Yeah, I think realistically, like if you lose 20 is the level that I've marked out. You have a lot of short exposure on the VIX coming in at that 20 level. And if you really start to come below that, it's volatility's I mean, at that point it's completely collapsed. But
Yeah.
we did see volatility futures lose that level, I think at 47 it is. 45 or 25. What am I talking about? 47, 25. We did lose that low, and it is looking like, volatility's structure is collapsing. But, usually what we've seen historically when we do get those volatility pops is kind of like aftershocks, little I don't know if you want to call them complacency shoulders or whatever, but you usually do see maybe one or two more pops before it really does kind of settle.
Do you have a chart, Prometheus? You want to pull it up?
Yeah, I can pull it up. Let's see here.
How do I get these blue things to go away?
Right click, and then it's your after hours is on. So if you go to Canvas, I believe, or no, go back to where you're at trading, and go to extended.
Why do futures just look so much better than the VIX? Like, it's actually wild how much better VX looks than VIX. I guess because it didn't give the same blow off.
Whatever. Here, just pull yours up. I'll figure it out.
Yeah, I gotcha. Boom. Can you see it? We're good. Yeah. So, I mean, that's a great question, Tommy. And if you look to, like, from a structural standpoint on VIX, it's got this upward leaning skew. And this is what really tipped my hat, back when we were kind of down in here, was this upward skew that we saw to the upside in VIX futures specifically, that kind of led me to believe that we might be, seeing a move like we did. And when you saw this upward skew, you also had the S&P, extremely flat. Let's see. Throw this up here for you guys. Yeah, and so if we zoom in here on the S&P, let me move this up for you. Right, so we had this upward leaning skew in volatility structure, but the S&P, and this is on the daily time frame, up here at the highs around 6,100. I think we came into it 28 times and rejected from it out of 56 days. And to me, that really signaled that we were going to see, some downwards price action. And I did call that out in the Discord, and that was kind of one of my tip-offs that we're heading lower was this specifically. So I think there's always been, there's definitely some alpha there in volatility that you guys kind of want to watch out for, and be looking at these metrics that are kind of describing the underlying behavior of how the markets may perform, or how they may behave. But I am seeing some chart requests here. So can take a look at, we'll take a look at Andy, because I know a lot of the people in here are avid Andy enjoyers. But I mean, Andy's looking good here, guys. We got a nice pop off the floor, right? You did, if you want to call this a deviation, right? We came in, we deviated that low. We're now seeing some mean reversion to the upside. And what it looks like we're going to go next, if I were to guess, is the supply region that we left up ahead on the shoulder. That does kind of signal that you're probably going to see 125 to, even maybe up to 150 mil market cap next. But, I mean, this is a clean chart, right?
I feel like we're beginning to see some beta move or follow the alpha, because Pepe moved, a few weeks ago, or like a week ago, 2 weeks ago, whatever time frame you want, but it's a decent bit off the low at this point.
Yeah, it is. I've been talking about it too, and I think base Fartcoin is, base Fartcoin is the leader in the market, and what you see out of these leaders to then the names that follow after are the structural similarities, and kind of tipping its hat at how, the ones that are following those leaders may behave. If you look back at or Fartcoin here, that is, right, we kind of did this inverse head and shoulder move, and you essentially deviated this low, came back down, reaccumulated, and after that reaccumulation, you pop back up into this value area. Confirm that we're back in this range, and then you start to pop higher. This is a structure that I've been pointing out in the afternoon calls to the GigaChad members in the Discord. And I think Pepe could have a move pretty similar, right? I think we're kind of in this area right here where we're accepting back in this value area. We chop sideways here, come in, attack the supply up ahead or up above. And then, once we, confirm that this is kind of an inverse head and shoulders, you hold the range lows and you start to go back up, and then you start to, systematically attack supply one after another, and you get the stair step kind of move higher. And I think Pepe is in a very similar camp right now, where we have this value area. We came back down below, deviated it, or you could call it reaccumulation. You want to see it pop back up in here, and then get that inverse head and shoulders, confirm that we're holding the range lows, and then you can start to attack these supply regions, right? And you'll probably see that stair step up. I wouldn't expect a parabola off the lows. I would expect, because these are charts that aren't, fresh names, there is overhang supply. So you likely aren't going to see the parabolas to the upside that you would on the newer charts. But from a established holder base dynamic, you're also not going to have like these super nasty sell-offs that you would with on-chain Sol, where you have these parabolas up and then almost 70% drawdowns from the highs, like we saw when Fwog really started to pop off, and Popcat and some of the other names on-chain on Sol.
Yeah, I have been noticing obviously the strength in a lot of Sol memes. Some of them have, I want to say some of them have just retraced. Like, let me confirm that. I guess they haven't, right? I mean, some of them are showing strength. I guess it's kind of difficult for me to determine with Sol memes specifically, what's pumping because of short covering, and just a general lack of liquidity, and what is actually entering a new meaningful uptrend.
I completely agree, right? And something that we've really talked about quite a bit, across all of the content that we do, is the attention and mind share and how important that has been for the entirety of the cycle. Like Tommy said, it's like how much attention, are these going to really be able to bring, some of these names that were at one point, the strong blue chip memes within, their respective majors. But it's like, do these have the ability to garner the mind share that they once did? And yeah, I mean, we're going to see some mean reversion to the upside. Are you going to see the raw multiples and the velocity of the moves that we once saw? I don't necessarily think so, but I think there's definitely some multiples to be made out of moves like this. If we kind of take into context Fwog here versus Fartcoin, like I was just looking at, right? I mean, all these structures are almost identical, and if we can kind of get back up into these ranges and kind of confirm acceptance back up in this area, right? Then you get confirmation, or even if you get a let's say you take a small bag down here, there's still multiples to be had with clear defined risk. And if we get any pop and relief on Bitcoin, like I said, I think alts could absolutely fly.
I think where my conflict with altcoins right now is that I'm just so bulled up on Bitcoin dominance. Like, I just think, I don't know if that just means that Bitcoin is going to just giga chad higher on its own, or if like the relative increase in market cap is just going to be that much greater than altcoins. But man, I think Bitcoin dominance is sending higher probably this summer, right? Maybe even sooner than that. But yeah, I think Bitcoin dominance like 75, 80%. That's not.
I think we got a wild Louis backstage. I think we got a meat stick hanging out in the back. Oh, big Louis.
Yo. Fellow degens.
What's up, brother?
Howdy.
How are we?
We're doing good, man.
We're cooking.
I had to drive to my mother-in-law's house just to get Wi-Fi.
Just to get a little something.
Just to get a little juice.
Nice.
At least you're not in Spain or Portugal right now.
Yeah, it's like I saw all that stuff happening yesterday, and then I was like, my Wi-Fi just wasn't working. I was like, oh crap. Like, are we next? No camera though. Sorry. You guys will have to last a day.
I like the picture though, Louis.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Got some based Pepe chart requests. Is this the base Pepe chart?
That's it. Yeah.
Looks
look
like
right.
PayPal or ARC chart.
Yeah, I like it here. I've been adding more down at these levels. You know, even for like a mean reversion bounce, like up into that level, like you just drew at a minimum. You know.
Yeah. That's what I was kind of talking about before you jumped on here. I mean, even these charts that were once, super, super strong runners previously in the cycle. I mean, yes, they might not necessarily, set new all-time highs or, get as much mind share as they once did. But I think there's really good multiples to be had off the lows,
Oh yeah.
and if we look right here.
Tons of opportunity out there.
Yeah. And I mean, there's really, you could pretty much have a really nice defined risk trade here, infinity RR. No, I'm just kidding. No, but I mean, yeah, there's definitely some multiples to be had to the upside. This chart looks pretty floored to me, right? I mean, if you look at it, it looks like we've been accumulating at the floor, right? We came down into this key level, held this as support. We briefly deviated this low right here. And, there's obviously, some buyers are stepping into the market here, which is what you want to see. We broke this resistance level or this area that was clear resistance, right? These highs right here, broke back above it. And, the next stop or the next kind of battle is going to be getting above this supply in here. So probably see, come up in this level, chop sideways, and you confirm that, come back in, retest this, flip it into support, and then see some further price action. But if you can get back above this level and hold it, then, definitely gonna going straight up to, we'll just call it 12 cents.
Yeah. I mean, this, base Pepe was super strong. Obviously had a nice run. But I mean, if you zoom out, I mean, not too much more, but we've seen stuff like these meme coins, like a base Pepe, stuff like if you were to put like the Andy chart under or over it, whatever.
Yeah.
We've seen these things return back to the old all-time highs as well, right? Obviously, I'm going to take it level by level. But you've seen stuff like Andy, stuff like Wolf that like go on a big run, pull back to pretty much range lows, and then go up to range highs once more. So it's not out of the question, but it's definitely something I would take level by level, right? So like Andy, big run, came down, reaccumulated, made it back to range highs, and then once again came back to range lows. So it's not, like out of the question. But it's best to just take it level by level. And as you get up into those resistance levels, like the one you marked there, that's a big level. But you flip that, there's pretty much nothing but air until that topping formation, right? Like the underside retest of that. So, and like the RR is there, right? And this is on altcoins across the board. A lot of some or a lot of meme coins, that low cap stuff, they might not come back. But some stuff has staying power, and mind share still. And this might be one of them. So that's why I've been reaccumulating at the lows here, looking to catch another leg, take my next trip.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, and I mean, if you kind of look to like on Andy, that previous high that we had, after we came back down and into the support area, I mean, we really just blew through it. So I mean, you could definitely see something on base Pepe, just a pretty violent move up into this underside retest that Louis was talking about. And just like we saw in Andy, I mean, it acted as resistance for a while. But then, we saw it range sideways for a bit. And then you had the next big leg, expansionary leg up.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
All right. Any other charts that you guys want to see?
We can just like scroll through some of these other meme coin charts, and then I know there were some other more fundamentally based altcoins. It's always, I have to kind of chuckle when I say that, but more fundamentally driven altcoins as well that were requested. Oh man, we got a a rec for Atom. I haven't thought about that chart in a while, man.
Oh my gosh, I don't even know.
Saw TRX in there. I think Aave was in there too.
Jeez,
Man, Atom.
Oh yeah.
Atom.
Oof.
I mean, that doesn't look like horrible.
All right, look at to the left before it ran in 2021. Look at what it looked like. So although it looks horrible, you never know. I mean, I don't know anything about the fundamentals on this one. Is this still an operating chain? I have no idea.
I know it's a big like QAnon thing. I don't even know about this. I mean, you're just at this point a perpetual downtrend until you break that. And another thing too, I mean, that does not look good is, I mean, coming back in, underneath this previous support zone support. And you kind of lost it, I mean, if you held up here above it, you could have counted this as a deviation, but now we're starting to come back down below. Next stop down here.
It just really comes down to like, sure, this thing could bounce and have a nice move, but like there's probably just way better things to play.
Yeah.
I think we've seen this phenomenon with a lot of crypto charts this cycle where it's like it's floored, therefore people want to bid it. But there's like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know that as much about it, but it's like, will the market find attention, or will this asset find attention from the market again? That's the question I think you have to ask yourself when you look at any of these charts.
Yeah, and there might be like, it's like, I don't know anything about the fundamentals. I haven't heard about Atom in probably 2 or 3 years. Like there could be someone is paying attention, but not something I know about. So
I miss the alpha where whenever Atom was pumping, the market was like imminently about to nuke.
I remember that.
Yeah, I mean, it's all these charts are exactly like Dot, Atom.
I feel like you have to look at their market cap charts.
Would that be right there?
Because there's been a lot of dilution that's occurred.
Oh, that's true. I mean, they're still all the same. You know what I'm saying? It's just perpetual bleed. And I mean, you're gonna see a few pumps in between. Right? You're gonna see these pumps, but like Louis said, I mean, from a timing perspective, you're probably gonna have to sit in it for, God knows how long. And not only that, I mean, what are you looking for, a 2x? Right? And you might have to sit in it for 6 months. Like, to me, I
think that's the beauty of beta this cycle. You're able to get access to leverage much cheaper to long altcoins, which is inherently bearish on high FDV scams, but it's also bullish for meme coins. What do you think about Aave here?
Yeah, let's take a look. Oh, look at that. Looky.
Came down a lot.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, that was a nice run it had earlier in the year.
Jeez, dude, I don't even know when I drew these. Probably drew them when it was like up here.
Some of us caught that run off the lows back then. That was nice. Little win in a crappy market.
I mean, it's trading super clean. right?
I think it's obviously like just any other, it's just pretty dependent on ETH,
Yeah.
Right, because like the main use case for Aave is what, like ETH backed loans.
Yep. Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's a big thing too. Like you want to incentivize people to be taking loans out. Like that's when stuff like this is going to do really, really well in peak froth. When we're basically at the top, and people are, it's complete froth. Everybody's, in the bonanza. You have, anything and everything popping off. Everybody's trying to do the make it trade and get their aunts and uncles and brothers and sisters in. And that's when stuff like this is going to do really, really well. I think this fundamentally has a really strong use case. Granted that ETH doesn't go to zero. That's what you got to kind of watch out for. But
I actually don't think that ETH is the major with the greatest risk to go to zero, but I won't say more than that.
Which one, brother? Which one?
I mean, there's only 3, so
yeah. Sol?
XRP or Sol?
You think Sol goes to zero?
I don't think anything is necessarily going to zero.
Okay,
the greatest probability of going to zero.
Yeah, I think something with Aave here, though, it's, if you come back again, I mean, decent, define risk trade here. You want to see this level really hold. You don't want us to get down back below that. You see it come back up into this level, something like a 3R.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of these altcoins, like they're at the point where like they've made bounces and it's either they're just gonna continue to grind higher or they're gonna, retrace and do some more like accumulation down here.
Yeah, that's what the camp I'm kind of in right now.
Yeah.
I just don't think we see an imminent V recovery after the literal onslaught that we saw. I mean, you're gonna have some winners though in the meantime, kind of in between. Let's look at Kaspa, boys. Look at that. Holy.
Yeah, I mean, rejecting where it should have. But I don't think that means it won't get back inside that range or whatever you want to call that.
This was just so distributive. I mean,
you could not form a more textbook rounding top if you tried.
I know. And the thing is, you have distribution within distribution within distribution.
Yeah. That was just.
I mean, this was like arguably the success story of the cycle for altcoins. It went up 1,000,000 X's.
Did it actually?
Like a complete surprise.
Well, you had to buy it early. You had to get it under like 5 cents.
Right. But we know people who did that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Even lower than 5 cents, bro. Go back on the chart.
I mean,
that's where I was buying it. But yeah, I know, like, wasn't like Wabi super early on Kaspa?
Yeah, Sisu in the Discord back in the day was buying it in here.
Yeah,
I thought he bought before that.
Or he might have bought in here. It's one of the two.
Yeah.
He bought, I think his initial buy was 0.5 cent. And then he like full ported at 1 cent.
I mean,
and then
absolutely comes back to like what does that gray box start at, Prometheus?
It already
like
came back into there.
It did.
That's 5 cents.
Dude, it might be bottom, man. It might be bottoms. It might.
Yeah, it could be. It just has so much supply to get through, man. It's
I mean, Lord, if you really like, and Mara has like 25% of the hash rate. I mean, if you want to talk about supply that has to get through,
they're still mining it.
I'm pretty sure they're still mining it. not to what extent they were previously. I don't know if they still are or not confirmed, but they were definitely using it to subsidize their BTC mining stack. But I mean, it's, you know, came up, yeah, rejected from where Louis said we needed to reject from. Looks like we're losing this, you know, kind of want to hold there. If you don't, you know, I mean, next stop is down here, you know. I mean, structurally that looks good, you know, to bid, you know, place to bid. Do something like that. But yeah, what else? Should we look at Arbitrum? Let's look at Arbitrum.
Oh God.
Whoa. Oh my.
So shit.
This is like the
Oh.
optimism chart, but you can see the dilution very clearly reflected in real time.
Oh wow.
Where it just kind of optimism would oscillate into new highs, and Arbitrum just oscillates into lower highs forever, and probably just, you know, forever bleeds to zero.
Yeah.
Nah, it's a massive falling wedge, bro.
I mean, I don't even know where structure's at on this thing. There is no structure. There is no floor. Yeah, I mean, weren't these supposed to be like the game changers for Ethereum?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just another cash grab.
What's surprising about OP to me, you know, Arbitrum makes sense. Like literally no reason to use Arbitrum at all other than literally hyperliquid at the moment, and that's going away soon. But what's interesting and doesn't make as much sense for me is like I'm pretty sure like base is built on OP, is it not? And you would think that would give it some sort of perpetual bid of some sort, right? Like the underlying
Base is built on OP? No, I don't think so.
I'm pretty sure.
They're both L2s, right?
Yeah.
Separate. They're both separate L2s on ETH.
Why did I think that then? I don't know why I thought that.
I don't
That makes
think
sense.
so.
Jeez. I mean, I don't even, this is just zero. Next.
When were we trading that, bro? Was that in that like?
Dude, I was trading this in the summer.
Base chain is built on the OP stack in collaboration with Optimism.
Oh, really?
Wait, what?
I
Yeah,
think I
and that's-
tried to short this a second time after it topped in 2023.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I think I got shaken out of that short though. I hit the one in 2022.
It was like in the $1 to $2 range in mid 23. Yeah, in there.
We were trading a lot of stuff like at the bottom in 23. What were some other names that?
CFX, bro.
Oh,
Conflux.
yeah. What was it? The Chinese what?
Chinese Matic.
Yeah.
Oh
Chinese
my God. You want to talk about crime?
Chinese Matic, bro. When was that? Go to 23.
It was literally like off the bottom.
It was that pump off the bottom, yeah.
This thing?
No, left, I think.
Q1 2023.
Yeah, that.
Oh. Wow.
Yeah, it was that.
Man, what else were we trading? I mean, I want to say I remember shorting Atom back in the day. FTM, I think we were looking for longs.
When you have fibs.
Oh yeah, INJ. I forgot about this
From
coin.
the very beginning. Oh my gosh.
I mean, this thing might just be like leading the broader market, or at least VC alts.
What, to the downside?
I don't know about leading to the downside, but it kind of accurately predicted the top in December. And it looks exactly like it did last cycle. Because if you look at, we had the complacency in the same way.
Yeah.
And also Jump exited crypto. So I want to say STX probably looks like this, as do my poor puppets.
Yeah. These are all names that I was like super bullish on like late 2022, early 2023. I'm glad I pivoted.
I believed in STX. Well, that's relative. I believed in ordinals.
Yeah, this chart's got some work to do. I remember the Schmiko top of ordinals. I remember exactly what I was doing, exactly where I was at.
Me too. Me too. You know, I think the question that probably everybody in the audience is asking themselves right now, I think they want the panel's opinion, guys. Do you think that 100 men could fight
Bro,
a gorilla?
No,
no fucking chance, bro.
I've talked to some buddies about this the other day, bro. No chance.
There's no chance.
Unarmed.
If the 100 men work together, yes, they can.
Okay, no, bro. I'm talking random. It's random. It's not like Navy SEALs. Okay, this is random dudes off the street.
You got neck beards. You got like
all
right, well,
everything.
Put it this way, right? Like, what's the average weight of your, the average male?
No,
like
it's not about weight, bro.
It's not about
their
weight,
bones
bro.
are
Of
4
course
to
it
5
is.
times.
If you're storming,
no, it's not. No, their hands have 1,300 pounds per square inch of pressure. Could crush a human skull with one finger.
Bro, they
their
can
bones
pop
are
a tractor tire with their grip strength, brother.
Yeah, their bones are 4 to 6 times thicker than human bones. Their skin is so thick you can't bite through it. You can't rip through it. It's literally that thick.
It's 100 men working together. Like, if these are like trained guys and they've been like training for this and they have a strategy, like maybe like that gives them better odds. But if we're just talking off the prompts of like just 100 random dudes versus a gorilla in like a field, in a cage, it's even worse. But like in a field, okay, first of all, what's gonna happen is the gorilla is gonna kill like 15 of them in about 5 seconds.
Instantly.
The other guys are gonna run for the hills.
Okay? That's my thought too. I think like if you're viewing it from the standpoint of a computer simulation where humans will have no emotion and just throw themselves at the gorilla, like maybe there's a small modicum of a chance, but humans do have emotion and they are going to see their fellow humans get eviscerated by this gorilla and they are not going to want to fight it.
Yeah.
Is this the next like Harambe bull signal? Like the 100 men versus one gorilla? Is Harambe making
the problem is with no weapons, you just can't do any damage to the thing. Like you just can't, like
you can't break any of their bones. You can't puncture their skin. No, their neck is too thick. You can't get your hands around it. You can't get an arm around it. You can't get your legs around it. If you put your arm anywhere around its mouth, it's literally gonna bite through your whole arm with its 3-inch fangs. Like, there's no chance.
No, there's a 0% chance. I'm sorry.
What about 100 toddlers versus one man
versus one Hagrid?
Dude, look at this. Okay. Are you joking right now? You think, dude, it's 500 pounds of pure muscle with fangs. Like, no, you're cooked. Like if you up the numbers, you could talk about it, but no.
I mean, yeah. Now 20 men with bayonets versus a gorilla.
Well, yeah,
they win. Yeah, but what if you give the gorilla like a large metal like pole and he's just swinging it around, bro?
I think you got to go for those nostrils right there and those eyes.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. You remove the eyes. You sacrifice 10 of the guys. You get the eyes. You maybe have a chance.
Now, what if we say like the same premise, 100 men, open field, whatever, versus like a polar bear or a grizzly bear.
No chance.
No shot. Polar bears are huge, dude.
I think grizzly even worse, bro.
It's even worse, bro. They're like 1,200 pounds. Grizzly bears are male grizzly bears. Let me look this up. Or maybe the polar bears.
People have wrestled bears before.
I mean, but like an actual bear, like
I actually think you'd have a better shot with 100 humans against a bear than a gorilla.
Yeah.
No,
I don't know.
Have you seen a bear in real life?
I have. I don't think bears' movement is as sudden as a gorilla's, though.
That's true.
Yeah. No,
neither are there. I just think like we're talking about opposable thumbs here as well.
We're talking about 8-inch razors on both of their hands. Okay.
Yeah, I mean not razors, blades.
Yeah, like razor blades on both hands. They're just swiping and just oh man, it would be worse, I think.
I bet you could wear out a bear sooner than you could wear out a gorilla.
Yeah, because they're like 3 times as big. That's true.
Yeah. So male grizzly bear is 600 pounds.
No, that can't be right.
I looked it up. I looked it up.
Male grizzly bear weight.
I looked it up.
If it's a black bear is 1,000.
Yeah.
In Alaska, some can reach 1,200 pounds or more.
Oh my gosh. That's like that one breed though. That's like the Kodiak bears or whatever.
Yeah. What about
I watched a video of a grizzly bear like throwing around a black bear yesterday, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
Polar bears get up to 1,700 pounds.
Thank God for
that's
weapons.
Crazy.
But who wins in a polar bear versus grizzly bear? That's the real question.
Oh, polar bear all day, bro.
Really?
Dude, I don't know, bro. That's
all day long.
Battle.
Polar bears are bigger, but grizzlies are probably more agile.
Okay, so you've got a hungry polar bear and a grizzly who's protecting her cub. Okay.
Are we talking like nutritionally depleted hungry or
Yeah.
No, like survival instincts, I'll kill anything in my
dude, don't underestimate mothers, bro.
I know,
That's something that I've the stories of human moms picking up cars because their children are trapped. Like,
no, but you've got a mama grizzly protecting her cub versus a hungry polar bear. I mean,
I got the mama grizzly, brother.
That's the battle of the century right there.
What about a gorilla versus a grizzly?
A gorilla. I mean, every metric favors the grizzly, which I hate.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
I think maybe in a jungle, the gorilla could outlast, right? But in like a cage or an open field, I think the grizzly probably wins.
Yeah, I think the grizzly wins.
I don't know. That's a tough one.
Because the gorilla is agile.
Oh. See, I knew asking that question would provoke some elite
thought.
Conversation.
Bro, I've thought about it extensively.
Why don't you guys in the comments let us know who you would win between a bear and a gorilla? I think we're all kind of curious, but I don't think that 100 men could beat a gorilla, man.
There's no chance.
No chance. No.
There is a meme coin of this, by the way.
Yes, there is.
Oh my god. No,
and it flew last night.
Did it really?
Yeah, and then it pulled back, I'm pretty sure, pretty heavily. I haven't checked it.
It's way too low for market cap.
Like Harambe bull signal.
Harambe bull.
I mean, when the whole Harambe thing happened in 2020, like they pretty much sparked the bull run. Just saying.
Look at this. Hang on. Let me
Could you imagine this kicks off the bull run?
This looks better than most of the other VC scams, but needs a little bit of crime.
Yeah, it needs some help. Otherwise, it just looks like the rest of them, just bleeding in perpetuity. And then when the broader market rallies, you're probably going to see, oh, probably going to see a move at least up into here. You got all this supply overhead. And that's one of the issues with the, tickers that have been around the block for a while.
I have a poster in my room that says "Love yourself the way Harambe would love you," and it's a giant picture of Harambe, and it's awesome.
Man, I'm almost tempted to talk more about gorillas and bears when I see this comment.
You guys think of MicroStrategy here?
Let's take a look.
His average price is like 67K now, right?
It's higher than that. I thought before it was 60. Oh, wait. No, yeah. It's probably upper 67s.
Jesus, man.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That looks good, man. We're back.
I mean, this chart was
leading once again.
Clean. Came back in, retested this area, barely wicked into it, and just systematically.
Up those lows.
Yep. Just systematically.
Should have bought options on it too. Just bought some stock, but
yeah.
I feel like it's kind of one of those charts where it's hard to make money on options just because it's a pretty efficient option, like an overly efficient options market.
Because so many people are in it too. I mean, that's another thing you got to consider. It's the more options that are traded in a ticker, the more efficient the pricing is going to be. I mean, I will say with MicroStrategy, you get up into 440, you need to be careful.
I think if you flip 400, you're going for new highs. I'm looking at it the opposite. Just because how long we've been consolidating.
Yeah.
Like this is like multi-month consolidation after a big run. If it was like if we were pushing back to the highs after just like a V recovery, I would agree. But the fact that you consolidated, pulled back, and reaccumulated on the old all-time high tells me that if you're flipping that high you have marked there to the left at 400, tells me that you're likely going for another leg. That's how I'm looking at it.
I don't really have a strong opinion on this chart. It's just levered Bitcoin. But I'm not shorting it.
No.
It's not really a good spot to be shorting it.
You can't.
Yeah, I mean, I just think like when I look back to when MicroStrategy did that $42 billion offering, I mean, I really think to myself, from a standpoint of, how much premium the market was willing to pay for their stack, like what would it take for MicroStrategy to get back there? I mean, sure, he starts, continues to accumulate Bitcoin and, that increases their balance sheet, and markets are, discounting that and pricing that in. But within this cycle specifically, that was a crazy day. I remember that. It was up like 40% at the open and then closed like down 20%. It was wild. Take a look at GME here.
GME is the next MicroStrategy, bro.
I like that they're actually trying to save their company. I mean, is it a little late? That could be discussed, but I like that they're trying to do
the amount of cash they have on hand.
No, yeah. I'm trying to I like that they're accumulating and they're adding Bitcoin to their balance sheet, but I also am very much in the camp like they need to find another business model, like one for, you know, I get what they're trying to do, but I think they need to have, you know, one of those gigabrains come in and find some way to incorporate, you know, or shift their business model. So, I mean, it does look like potentially, I mean, we did flip this trend line. You know, that does look good. I think where your real risk on signal comes with GME specifically is if you are able to get above the high that we set on earnings in regards to the announcement that they're adding the Bitcoin to their balance sheet. I think if you're able to do that, then this stock does look pretty good. But until then, you probably stay pinned within this range.
It's a schizo chart.
Yes, it is.
I don't know. I think I'd rather lean bullish on GameStop than bearish, but I don't have a position in it at the moment.
Yeah, because I mean, you think at any point this chart could just have some crazy rally, you know.
Yeah.
Just at any point it could. You know, that's the thing about this chart.
Yeah, there's been a lot of big action on. Like I follow this one account. I mean, I was already watching this chart to begin with, like well before the Bitcoin announcement. Was already getting long exposure. But yeah, I follow this one account. It's just been literally all he tracks is like GME, like the buy orders and stuff like that. A lot of big buy orders. A lot of stuff going on. A lot of stuff behind the scenes that it seems to me that's going on. You got like literally teacher pension funds, entering $1 million positions. Like I think something's brewing. It could just all be nothing, right? But I like the chart.
Oh, hello.
Those are kind of expensive. Howdy.
But yeah, I don't know. I think something's going on here with it. Happy that I, bought in at the lows around $20.
Might have to take out some calls.
On GME.
Yeah, I think it can come back down into like 23, 24 bucks though.
Yeah, it's either going to squeeze here or probably pull back a little bit. I would agree. I like this level a lot.
I mean, you just backfilled the other day basically the rest of the liquidity. I mean, I don't really like to count wicks, but all right. Are there any check Palantir? Let's check PLTR. Wow.
Yeah.
My wife told me to buy this.
I saw this meme and it's perfect. It's like nobody has any idea what Palantir does. Like nobody has any idea what the company does.
Damn.
Yeah, this is impressive. We got earnings coming up.
Ooh.
What are Palantir's earnings? Like, what does it even do?
They have a lot of government contracts, I think, is their main revenue.
Contracts to do what?
Like work with like NSA and CIA and FBI for like
Spy on us.
cybersecurity. Literally. This is not so. This is a fucking schizo chart too.
Damn. Surprised that moved back up to the highs so quick.
Me too.
Yeah.
I was actually expecting rejection here at 100.
What does IWM look like on the topic of small caps?
Not great.
No. This chart won't do anything until rates come down significantly and the cost of capital becomes a lot cheaper.
220, what is that? Is it 220? Yeah, 210, 215, you're good. Yeah. I don't think you get all the way up to like 230 and reject or 225. Like I think if you're gonna do it, you're gonna do it at like 210. Flip 210, 215, you're off. Yeah, flip all that and you're good. Until then, you know.
Yeah.
Just another 20% away from confirmation.
I mean, just zoom out. Zoom out.
It's been ranging since COVID.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
It looked really good before Trump stepped into office.
Yeah.
It did. You know, same with Ethereum, same with a lot of charts.
Wait, is Lutnick pumping us right now?
Is he?
Kinda.
I don't think. Does he come on? Did he come on it?
I thought he came on like 30 minutes ago.
Wait, who's speaking?
I think Bassett.
Lutnick. Bassett did earlier today.
Yeah.
I'd much rather them not be speaking soon. Hopefully they spoke already. I hate when we pump into those things.
We had one guy talk already. But
Professional yappers.
I mean, no one's got the market like by the balls like Powell and Trump. So if it's not either of them.
Well, I saw that they're going to, I mean, I could totally see them name the Fed chair successor as soon as possible so that you make Powell effectively irrelevant. That's kind of like the legal way of firing Powell.
We got Lutnick in an hour and a half. Okay.
Oh, I thought it already yapped.
No,
I thought it
probably
was at like 2.
wasn't his official yap.
The professional yap.
Yeah.
Someone should ask him the gorilla question.
Dude, they should. That should be an IQ test.
Dude, look at this fucking monthly candle, boys. That
When do we close? Thursday?
that is crazy.
Tomorrow, yeah. I mean, yeah, like that's like the biggest wicked candle on the monthly, I think, ever.
Probably ever. That's nuts.
Bigger than COVID.
Yeah.
Which is crazy when you think about it. Like that looks like a monthly candle that sparks like a year-long rally at a minimum.
Yeah, at least.
If it doesn't just like nuke through that wick, like we could obviously backfill some of that.
That's kind of the camp that I'm in. I think you you backfill some of it, but yeah, I mean, this is crazy.
The golden hammer. Spark the golden age.
Is that what you're trademarking? The golden
take it.
hammer candle.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Been running for about an hour and 40. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think that's a good spot to wrap it up. Before we can send you on your merry way, guys, got something I want you all to see.
Tired of outdated trading tools, confused charts, dozens of tabs, endless stress? You're not alone. Introducing BB Terminal, your all-in-one command center for crypto trading. Track your portfolio, monitor the markets, stay ahead, all in one place. From chaos to clarity, from struggle to success. BB Terminal.
Indeed. Study outros. You guys will love the BB Terminal. Before I can officially send you on your way, like the commercial states, guys, that is your go-to tool for this cycle. Whether you are an active trader, a long-term investor, or on-chain degen, you will find huge utility out of the BB Terminal. Of course, as well, we also were nice enough to package this together with our premium Discord, where you can hear from the team 4 to 5 hours of calls every single day. Also, pretty much our live thoughts on the market. We also have the BB Academy. So if you're looking to hone your educational base or reach trading level mastery, you will be able to do that as well. And last but certainly not least, we also have an SEC registered hedge fund. So if you are interested in having the team manage capital for you, we can arrange that for you as well. And yeah, we trade digital assets in a way that looks to manage their asymmetric history for upside returns, while also balancing that with the downside risk posed in any financial market. So like I said, check out BB Wealth Management. Everything that I just said over the last 90 seconds is linked below in the description if they resonate with you. But yeah, Market Check will be back for another episode tomorrow. A reminder that we typically go live around, it's beginning to kind of be around this 11:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. But you can check us out whenever the New York Stock Exchange is live, Monday through Friday. And make sure to wrap up your day as well with Market Talk, hosted by King Wabi. That is an X Spaces hosted through the Because Bitcoin account, as well as Wabi. So make sure to stay following and subscribed so you can be notified not just when we schedule those spaces, but also when we go live. That's it from us, though, guys. We hope that you enjoyed the show. Like I said, we'll be back for another episode tomorrow. We'll see what the markets give us in the meantime. But as always, thanks again for tuning in. And of course, stay safe.